Totally. So, Joel, welcome to the QB Appy Hour. We're super excited to have you with us.
Thank you.
And for those of you that haven't met Joel, this is Joel Hughes from Right Networks. So he's here to share some really exciting news with us in just a little bit. So can you tell us a little bit about your role at Right Networks?
Sure. So I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Right Networks, coming up on 3 years.
Amazing.
And I think many people know Right Networks for our hosting of QuickBooks, mostly desktop software. We're serving firms and SMBs sort of across the U.S. Great business. I'm thrilled to be part of it. And I think that we'll talk a lot more about what we're doing specifically recently and in the near future. But we're here at QB Connect for the first time as Right Networks. And we got our table going tomorrow. We've got all kinds of people here engaged with the community, I think. And we're excited to talk about our news.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and so you've been with Right Networks for about 3 years, and I was reading that before that you were with Constant Contact?
I was. Most recently, I was at Constant Contact for about 5 years before that,
Nice.
in roles in strategy and corporate development and product management. So learned a lot about acquiring SMBs at scale and recurring revenue businesses. So
Hi.
So
Constant Contact.
while I was there, I'd say that learned a lot about high volume customer acquisition and how to serve customers who buy something from you every month. Right? It's no long-term contracts, no enterprise deals. It's really earning people's business every month with a service that has to be valuable. And you have to continue to drive more value into that over time. So it's fun. It's fun to serve a large customer set of SMBs and small firms and accounting professionals, and so that's translated for me pretty well into what we're doing right now.
I think that you're bringing a lot of energy, and so that's what's really exciting is that the energy that you're bringing into Right Networks. One of the things that's really cool, and I'm going to grab our lapel mics too. So one of the things that's amazing and cool is that whenever we think about Right Networks, we think about a platform that is trusted and used by accountants. And it's been a rock solid, steady platform for many years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's it's really what makes it the foundation of the service is stability and reliability, no question. So people need to do their jobs 24/7, 365. Obviously, we've got tax seasons that are critical to people. We've got 24/7 live support in the U.S. for all of our customers because we know that there are times when they need that. And really the company was founded by a couple of guys, Phil and John, 15 years ago, who built some proprietary technology we call HyperWrite, but allows us to host things in the cloud really well. I'll just say that. And it's been an incredibly stable and reliable platform for a long time.
Well, I'm going to say that as an accountant, that it absolutely, truly does matter to us to be able to work from home.
Absolutely.
Be able to be remote workers.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us say that if we had to go and go into a office, we wouldn't do it. So being able to have a hosted environment where we can put our clients in the cloud and work on those books really has transformed the way that we work on them.
It really has. I mean, it's really helped to transform our entire industry because you see so many people that are able to have lifestyle firms now rather than, trekking to the office.
Lifestyle firms. I like that.
Lifestyle firms.
Okay. So lifestyle changes and all the energy that you're bringing.
Right.
And Right Networks being a trusted platform.
Right.
Okay. All right. So what's next?
So what's next?
What's next?
So
because we know there's changes.
I mean, absolutely. So most recently, I'd say last month, we announced a new partnership we have with Intuit on the tax side. So, we've been active in accounting and QuickBooks in particular for a long time. Over the years, we've probably ended up with a few hundred customers who had some tax software in our environment as well. But it's never really something we'd really spent time on optimizing and getting to the same level of reliability and stability we're talking about here.
Yep.
And as you know, in the tax world, the applications get updated daily during tax season. Like just updating your applications is a huge challenge from an IT standpoint. So over the last year and a half, we spent a lot of time really optimizing specifically the Pro Series and the Intuit Lacert packages for our environment to make sure that we could deliver it at scale in the same kind of month-to-month contract, no long-term stuff. We're not having to set up dedicated servers and environments for customers, because we're able to put this into our pool of servers and have it just be really rock solid. So Intuit is now selling hosting for Lacert and hosting for Pro Series out of their PCG tax group, and that's all delivered by Right Networks.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
And it's just in time.
It's just in time, exactly. It was good,
Right.
sort of beginning of October is our target to try to get that product, that solution to market, and
Okay.
here it is.
So I've got a question for you. I didn't ask this ahead of time, so. So right now, do we have training available for accountants to be able to kind of get primed and ready for it? Is there some?
Yeah, well, I know that we've certainly trained the whole Intuit PCG sales team, and they're marketing and selling today.
Okay, all
And
right,
they have been for a month. So we've onboarded, I don't know, 100 plus customers or so far.
Okay.
And that was, we were held up a little bit by the October 15th tax deadline. So we feel like it's going to start to roll a lot more now. And then certainly down the road, we see, the integration of accounting and tax. Certainly in our environment, we can do that. And I think we're looking at, I'll talk about our AutoFi product, for example, and integration of applications. How do we get all that information out of your QuickBooks?
Okay, you said that
into
really,
your
really
tax?
fast. Let's go
We'll
ahead.
spin it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so talk about
So
Spotify.
that was the tax launch. So so yeah, about a year ago or so, we'd acquired a company called Propelware, and Joe Dwyer is known well, I think, to this community, longtime guru of integrations and APIs, really with the idea that we wanted to make it a lot easier to integrate applications to QuickBooks and other packages in accounting and tax, and simplify, automate, and make more productive the workflows of firms and professionals. So we recently installed AutoFi in our environment, which means that now integration of applications using those APIs is what we call always on. So even if you're on Expensify on the weekend and somebody's not logged into their hosted QuickBooks session, you can still synchronize all the data.
Right.
But that's been a problem,
huge.
right? The whole
Yeah.
if I have desktop, but I've got applications that people are using at funny times, sometimes it doesn't work and we're confused about whether the application got the data, blah, 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 blah. We just sort of said, hey, let's make that work. And that's working, which is great. So we're thrilled about what we've been able to do with AutoFi.
And you've also enhanced your security. There's a new
And then so
feature
today,
right?
so now
Oh,
it's
this is big
now we're to today. So today's
today.
announcement is multi-factor authentication across our environment, right? So we've had it for a while in our sort of custom cloud segment, but for our largest set of customers, we've just launched today in partnership with Duo. I think our logos and our colors are like the same. So like green and white is really a good combination for us. So Duo plus Right Networks.
It's also
There are a whole
many
bunch of
colors.
cupcakes I was just talking about this morning at our office in New Hampshire of these Duo cupcakes with the Right Networks cupcake. But anyway, so security is a huge deal, right? So we're talking about application integration, yes. Productivity enhancements, yes. Work anytime, anywhere, great. But boy, I mean, the last year plus, it's just the priority for security, avoiding phishing scams, backing up your data, encryption at rest, all that kind of stuff has been driving a lot of our product plans. And today we announced that we've got MFA, multi-factor authentication available from Duo integrated at Right Networks. So we're going to start pushing that certainly to our firms and to all our SMB customers so they can become a lot more secure.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, thinking about a lot of accountants, want that integration between QuickBooks Desktop and Pro Series or Lacert, and they're now going to be able to have that with your new offering. So that's huge. It's huge. It's going to change a lot of lives, I think.
We hope so. I think it's trying to speed that up, right?
Yeah.
And we're finding more and more, I'd say, sort of security, and then sort of this whole data thing, which is making it secure and backed up, but also flow faster.
Right.
Right. So we're trying to build these capabilities generically into everything that we do now.
Right.
So it just sort of speeds things up and makes it easier for people to get work done. Now faster.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So with all of this new stuff happening.
What's the most important new thing we want to talk about tonight?
Well,
Why
don't you tell me?
So we're at QuickBooks Connect.
We are.
We are celebrating a little something.
We are definitely celebrating. It's not a little something. I think it's a big something.
Right.
We think it's a champagne-worthy
We
celebration.
do.
Agreed.
So we do have. I'll get the
Yes.
champagne.
Okay, all right. So,
All right, I'm gonna
so-
get the champagne.
and also I want to say I'm getting out a button. So,
All right.
so this button that's here,
Here we are.
this is,
I'll hold yours while you.
okay,
you
all right. So
can-
our button is saying this is like a new partnership to a new beginning for 2020 of our champagne sponsorship of QB Happy Hour with Right Networks. So
And we could not be more thrilled.
we
Thrilled
are.
to be the champagne sponsor for 2020 of the Happy
Thank
Hour.
you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So super exciting news.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we're going to be seeing more of Audify and Transaction Pro Importer, right,
Absolutely.
on the show. So we're
Yep.
going to be doing some fun things with those applications. And
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
We are. So we're going to be doing some deep dives, looking
Deep
at
dives.
how exactly Transaction Pro Importer and
Mhm.
Exporter and Deleter works,
Yep.
which so data utility tools is near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love them. I think that whenever we're talking about accountants being able to use data utility tools to be able to move data in and out efficiently and value pricing, I'm all over that. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that this is a really fun new year.
Yeah.
That I'm excited to do these deep dives to show accountants how to be able to say, let's move data, let's move it in and
Right.
out, clean it up, and do it efficiently. And then Audify, that's got some cool stuff going on too. So
Yeah, and we just sort of see those as two parts of a sort of family of data import, export, synchronization tools, right?
It's-
Speed it up. Now faster? What do you
Now
say?
faster.
Now
Now
faster.
now faster.
Yeah, right on.
Okay, well,
All right.
I'm going to drink
Awesome.
again
Yeah.
because this is
Cheers.
just
Happy hour.
right
Cheers.
networks.
Super exciting. So day one, almost, well, it's pre-conference, right? Our QuickBooks Connect starts tomorrow.
Yes.
So lots of great sessions.
Yep.
Lots of fun. As I've been coming in all day today, I've been seeing so many friends and you know, people that, you know, we only see at these conferences. I see
I
them on
agree.
Facebook, but we don't see them in real life, right? So it's been great. I was just telling Blake that it's like summer camp, right? It's like summer camp. You come
I
back every
agree.
year, you see your friends, you get, you know, the little autographs, maybe not that, but you get, you know, emails and Twitter handles and
you
things like that.
exchange
You
stickers.
exchange things, yes,
Yeah,
but it is. And we have
cards,
sleepovers
hugs.
and yeah,
Business advice because we all have the same problems.
we do.
How do you hire people? How do you staff? How do you compensate well? How do you quantity and quality? Oh my gosh, isn't that a conversation that accountants all have? So these are all things that, you know, the conference is just now starting.
It is.
Some of the best conversations are happening at lunch. Do not be afraid to sit down at lunch and just start spilling your guts about what's
Well-
happening in your firms because everybody else is feeling the same things happening.
And we
too.
have those new brain dates.
Yes.
So the brain dates in the app, if you go on the QuickBooks Connect app, there's now the brain dates. So if there's a particular topic that you are really interested in, you can actually put it out there and say, hey, you know, I'm going to be at this place at 11 o'clock on Thursday. Come and chat with me about it. So
Yep.
I'm, of course, doing a Zappy or brain date. So if you're interested in that,
Yep.
come join me on
Mhm.
Thursday.
Great.
Yeah?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to not choke you. So
Thanks for my pen.
I'm going to take that.
Removal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. And we're going to be coming out and saying hi here in a
We
little
are.
bit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
See you out there.
Okay.
Thanks for the pen.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the champagne.
I know.
All right. So we also have a special guest, Jim Bloomer, coming over here.
We
Bloomer,
do.
Jim is going to come over here. And so, hi, Jim.
Hi, Jen. Welcome. We're going to give you
Okay,
the mic and we'll
That's
share.
yours.
All
We're gonna
right. Does that work?
Yes, that is great.
All
So,
right.
thank you thank you so much for coming out and talking to us tonight.
Well, thank you
We're
for
so-
inviting me. I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here.
There goes all my
absolutely.
stuff. I'm
Okay,
dropping
so
stuff.
Jim Boomer, you are part of a family legacy.
Yep.
So
A
this-
legacy.
I
Wow.
know, right?
All right.
Yes.
We'll go with that.
Okay, we're going
yes.
with that. All right,
Okay.
so you've got a couple of different companies that you're a part of. So you've got the accounting firm, Boomer
Consulting.
Associates.
Well, we grew out of an accounting firm.
Okay.
So we don't actually do accounting anymore. So I'm second generation Boomer. Gary Boomer, my father, founded the company. He was a traditional tax audit partner in a regional firm. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, he got tapped as, I think it was one of 6 tech savvy CPAs who kind of got it, how technology and the PC was going to really make an impact on the accounting profession. So he was out on the speaking tour, and that's where he built his name, and then started the consulting practice within the accounting firm, and in the mid 90s broke off, and that was Boomer Consulting.
Wow.
So yeah, I went and did we made sure that, you know, I had to go do my own thing. So I was with Arthur Anderson, rode that ship down with Enron, did Bearing Point, and then we even did a trial. I went back to grad school for a couple of years, and before we did that, or I did that, we tried a 6-month trial period to make sure, you know, because there's all kinds of father-son, father-daughter, mother-son dynamics that'd just be, so we had to make sure we weren't going to strangle each other.
Right.
And that worked, and it's been awesome for 13 years. So.
Well, we
Fantastic.
both have families
Yes.
that
We
we
do.
brought in our children into
Yeah.
our firms because there's plenty, when you're self-employed, there's plenty of hats to wear,
Yeah.
and you're trying to always pass a hat. Like, please take a hat. Just take one.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I birthed one. So here, take
Right.
one. So we both have children that, you know, my daughter loves to write. So I
Yep.
brought her in, and
Well, cool.
she's doing some social media and writing.
Yeah.
And then my
Great.
daughter is an artist, an
Mhm.
actress, so she may make an appearance on Happy Hour someday.
Yeah.
But she's been doing some of our graphics,
Mhm.
so it's been fun. And we actually have something in common because my mom is a CPA, and
Okay.
so I got into the accounting from following my
Family.
mother. Yeah, family.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Footsteps.
Yeah, mine are a little younger there. I got a 10-year-old son, Miles, and
Oh.
8-year-old daughter, Lauren. And Miles has made the proclamation that he's going to run Boomer Consulting one day.
Oh, okay.
But I
that's
think he's
awesome.
got a lot of years and learning ahead of him to see if that's really what he wants to do. So, but it's kind of cool when you hear your son at 10 say that
Yeah.
that's what he wants to do. So we'll
that's-
see. We
yeah.
may have a 3rd generation
Wow,
Boomer.
that's great.
Yeah.
So
So-
I want to talk about Boomer Consulting because you're doing a lot of not just regular consulting, but IT consulting.
Mhm.
So talking about mapping out some processes, looking at management, knowledge management, looking at document processes. So you're looking at primarily large firms. Is that who
Yeah.
you're working with?
Yeah, so really, you know, 20 FTE up to top 10 firms, so $500 million in revenue. You know, that seems like a wide gamut, but that's a relatively small population of firms when you look at the
Right.
grand
Mhm.
scheme of things of the number of accountants. So yeah, we're really in the mid to large size firms is where we're working with them, and you can't look at things just from a siloed perspective of just technology or just process. And that's why we've really built out that expertise across technology, process, talent, leadership, and growth are kind of the 5
Oh,
areas.
yes.
So
Okay.
leadership, okay, that's where whenever you know, of course we go and stalk you to like have you on here. So in part of stalking, let's just call it what it
She was
is.
stalking.
Let's just call it what it is. So one of the things
I'm honored to be stalked.
Well,
That's amazing.
That's great. That's great.
yeah.
So you've been named the Appy Hour Process Guy.
Yeah?
Just want to let you
Okay.
know that's your new name.
All right.
The Appy Hour Process Guy.
Yep.
So, but looking at some of the things that you're doing, I absolutely love this name of this power panel that you're on. When
Mhm.
the whole firm backs transformation. So
Yeah.
you're going to be part of this power panel here at QuickBooks Connect, and you're talking about you can't just have, so this is the way that I interpret it, you can't just have the lead say, this is what we're doing. You have to have everybody buy in.
Yeah.
Because the whole culture has to be able to say, okay, I get it. So that means, you know, sometimes we talk about vision, mission, purpose, and we all talk about what is it that we're trying to accomplish for our small businesses. So
You pretty much nailed it, but it starts with the alignment. And so with the size of firms that we're working with, it's not one owner, it's typically not 2 owners. You've got a group of partners who you've got to have alignment in terms of what the vision of where they want to go. You know, do they want to evolve from just the compliance and transactional services to starting to provide advisory and consulting? And that's a whole new world. So how do we get there? And so building that alignment first, then actually building a strategy and a plan that, you know, involving more of the team, making sure that you actually communicate the plan is a critical piece, because we run into it all the time. Yeah, we have a strategic plan. It's, you know, this document that the partners know about and nobody else knows about. Well, it's hard for the rest of the team to get behind something if they're not included and not aware of it. So yeah, it's really about, you know, it's not about change management, it's about change leadership.
Change leadership. I love that.
Yeah. And
I love that.
Well, and isn't that, you know, I think about being adverse to change. That's kind of one of those things that it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
We don't think about it as being, no, we're not, we change all the time. But really, even if you just do a simple little change in our systems and our morning routines, daylight savings, oh my gosh, you did what?
yeah.
We're all here in California and traveling from wherever, and you just threw our whole schedules. Lunchtime, what? Where did it go? So,
Yeah.
I mean, change can be hard.
It's always a challenge.
It is. And our industry is changing. I read an article that you wrote back in September for CPA Practice Advisor about accountants being fearful of automation.
Yeah.
And I loved some of the things that you said in that article. You know, you were talking about how automation can actually elevate staff.
Yes.
And can you speak a little to that?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, I think when a lot of people, when they think about automation and when they hear robotics process automation, they think of the Terminators coming and these
Right.
cyborgs are going to take over the world, and I'm going to, you know, what am I going to do on the tail end of that? You have to not race against the machine, you have to race with the machine. And if you implement a whole bunch of process improvement and automation, and you get back all of this time and capacity, and you just apply that to do more of what you were doing, then it's kind of a wasted effort. Like, you have to figure out, how do I provide more value to my clients and actually become a true, I mean, as CPAs, at least, they've thrown around the trusted business advisor.
Right.
We have to go beyond just what people need to what they want, and that's business advice and looking proactively. And if you don't have any time to do those things, then you can't. I mean, obviously you can't be that valuable resource, but if you get all this time then and you don't use it, then it's a waste.
Yeah.
Business advice.
This is right.
It's really, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
But you were saying even the support staff, you know, the support in our firms. So the support staff, the marketers and our admin staff, automating also elevates them as well, right?
Oh, most
because
definitely.
it gives them the opportunity to do things that maybe they didn't have time to do and learn before.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the whole firm as a whole, you know, elevates, which is fantastic.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people want to reach out to you, how do they find you?
So they can reach out to me. My Twitter handle's Jim Boomer. It's pretty complex.
Straightforward, right?
Yeah. And you know, my email address is, again, complicated, jim.boomer@boomer.com.
Whoa,
So-
you're blowing my mind.
And the website,
Oh, gosh.
again,
Oh,
what,
gosh.
you want to take a guess at the website?
Just go for it.
Boomer.com. And
Oh. Okay, you know I'm from
It's
Oklahoma,
crazy.
so whenever I saw
Well, yeah.
Boomer, I was like, Boomer Sooner, what?
yes, well, I'm Kansas City, so I'm not far from
I'm
you.
so sorry.
And I was at the Kansas State Oklahoma game, and
Okay.
I got a lot of
I
yelling
did
at
too.
Boomer. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we had a Boomer Sooner accident, so
Yes,
our
yeah.
Sooner Schooner
Yes,
is
I
out of
saw
commission
that.
for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that was a little mishap, but
Yeah, it
thankfully
was.
nobody was injured. So, yes.
No animals either.
Yes.
All is good.
How that happened, I don't know.
Okay, so everybody come and find him during the conference.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
Jim,
thank you
It was
so much.
nice to meet
Yes.
you, and thank you so
And
much.
I appreciate the invite.
thank you.
So.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
All right.
Okay, yeah, we don't want to choke you with that. So,
No.
and we
No.
have a special guest that's coming on
We do.
that is dearly loved in our industry. So
Absolutely.
please come on over. Come on over. Yep. So Blake Oliver, here, let me pass that over to you.
Okay, good. Let's
Yeah.
see. I gotta clip this on properly. Wait. It can't mess up the branding. It can't mess up the branding, or David Leary will be upset. There we go.
Oh my gosh. which he's like somewhere around
He
here.
was just here.
I
He
was
just-
waving
yeah.
earlier.
Here you go.
Oh,
Okay, all right. So,
Little
Thank
podcast.
you.
Start-
okay, yep. So,
Yeah, I have to tell you something. So my son got a brand new MacBook. Well, it wasn't a brand new MacBook, but that's neither here nor there. So the first sticker that my son put on his laptop, you would think it would be the Appy Hour.
Right.
No, it was a cloud accounting podcast.
No way.
What?
That makes,
Yeah, I'm like,
that makes
what
my
are
day.
you doing? What are you doing, Jack? I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute, here's a sticker. I'm like, you have to put one of these.
it's really funny. He's
I-
15.
That's wonderful.
I don't know what you're
I mean,
doing, but you're like crossing all ages.
I don't know what I'm doing either, but
Well,
apparently it's
way to go,
working.
Blake.
So
Way
thank you.
to go.
Thank you. I should say thank you so much for having me on.
Pleasure.
Following Joel and Jim is going to be a challenge, but I'll do my
I
best.
doubt that. You
No,
have
no,
got
no.
so much going
Yes.
on. You've been through a bunch. Okay, so one of the things I think is really, really cool is you had a bookkeeping and accounting firm,
I did. Yes.
cloud bookkeeping and accounting firm. Let me just back up and say that because that actually matters.
It does.
And you built it up and you sold it.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I still don't know how exactly that happened.
you do okay. So then comes next.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm a CPA. I should mention that. Since
That's right.
I
yeah.
did. I did take the years to get it, so I got to mention that every time.
Awesome.
But while I was in school, I started my own bookkeeping company, and it was called Cloud Sourced Accounting. And basically got on cloud pretty early. I don't know what, in 2012, 2011.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I wasn't the earliest adopter, but I was able to grow that over like 3 years. And then a CPA firm was like, hey, we'll buy you.
By you.
Yeah. So then I got my CPA. I went to work for a big firm. So I worked for Armanino here in California.
Mhm.
They're a top 20 firm now.
Wow.
Because I wanted to learn how the big boys, do accounting. And I realized they don't know anything either. When it comes to client accounting services. They don't, or cloud accounting, they don't know anything either. And then I went to work in software.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've kind of like done everything. And this is my latest thing,
Podcast,
which
right?
is the
Right.
Cloud Accounting Podcast, the
Yes.
#1 podcast for accountants and
Accounting.
Which is
bookkeepers.
amazing. And that's, you guys have been around for a couple years now, but that's very rapid growth. So
It is.
kudos to you.
It is.
Yes, well, we don't talk about how many people listen to podcasts,
Mhm.
but hey, if we're up at the top of the charts, then
That's a good place to be, right?
yeah,
You're doing- yeah.
yeah. So,
So you have lots of articles that you're posting. In fact, I just subscribed to your newsletter. So however
Oh,
many
thank you.
billion that you have, now you have 1,000,000,001.
well,
Welcome.
you're absolutely love to have you. Thank you.
Now you just joined a new technology firm just a couple of weeks ago, and it's one of my favorites. Really exciting
Yeah, that's
technology.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty
we're
cool.
fans.
Well, so should I talk about it a little bit?
Absolutely,
All right.
definitely.
Yeah.
So it's called Giraffe, like giraffe,
Like a giraffe.
right? But with a J and a V. So try and spell that and type that into your Google.
Yeah.
So if you just look for all the pictures of giraffes at QuickBooks Connect, that's
Yeah.
us.
I know, and I
Yeah.
love all the onesies. So there's
Yeah.
tons of onesies.
That's right. They have the
Yes.
onesies and yeah.
I have a onesie.
Do you?
I,
You
that's-
gonna wear it?
Well, it was very easy to decide what I wanted to be for Halloween because
Right.
giraffes. So
Was
and
your son
I
a
did bring it.
giraffe too?
I tried to get him to be a giraffe, but he wouldn't wear it.
He wouldn't wear it.
Well, you know.
What was he for Halloween?
He was a soldier.
Nice.
Yeah. Which
Okay,
it's
alright.
hard to
Yeah.
argue with
Yeah.
that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
okay, you're a
Totally.
patriot. All right.
Yeah.
But he was
Yeah.
that last year.
No, you can't do that. So,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
Yeah, so we are dashboarding, reporting, and most of all, my favorite part is planning. So
Yeah, I agree.
financial modeling, which part of the reason I joined Giraffe is just because I want to learn how to do this. Because I think this is the future of CAS. Yeah, like
Mhm.
is everyone talks about advisory, right? But what exactly does that mean? And to me, I mean, there's lots of ways you can do advisory, but the thing that I find interesting is what the VCFOs are doing, right? And there's this whole mystique around building out financial models and projecting out 3 or 5 years. And everyone I talk to says it takes years to learn how to do this.
I agree. Okay, so you threw out an acronym. Go ahead
Yeah.
and break it down.
What acronym did I throw out? The financial modeling or the VCFO
Yep.
thing? Okay, so virtual CFOs, right? So people, generally guys with gray hair, right, who charge a lot of dollars per hour to do fancy stuff in Excel. And what are they doing? They're building out financial models. So essentially, your three-way financial statements, right? Income statement, balance sheet statement of cash flows, and you've got your actuals, and then you've got a forecast. And you're driving this forecast not just by copying what happened in the past, but by saying, okay, here's our head count, and here's who we're going to hire, and here's how many. And it depends on the business, right? How many widgets we're going to make, and you forecast all that stuff out into the future. And it gets super, super hard and complicated. So it takes people like years and years to master this. So what we're doing is building software that lets your typical accountant or even bookkeeper, right, do this without having to become an Excel wizard.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can provide like a, what I would like to think is like an advisory service to your clients.
And what I find very exciting about it, because whenever I was asked to review it, and I went, whoa, wait a second, what am I looking at? This is very different than what I've seen. You can go so deep. And that's where I got really excited. And I said to my friends, hey, come look at this really cool app. So that happened. And the thing that was exciting was, instead of going, oh, I have this Excel sheet workbook that I hold hostage and nobody else can understand my Excel workbook. Now you've got an app that other people can look at it and then go, I get it.
That 100%. To me, what we're doing, and there's other apps doing it, it's not just us, but this is like this movement that is happening, is it's like when QuickBooks first came along, right? So before that, what did we do? You had to be a wizard to
Lotus 1, 2, 3, right?
I mean, but even before that, it was
Pencil,
like
paper.
Pencil, paper.
you had to know how to construct paper ledgers and to convert those into trial balances, and then even to just create financial statements, you had to basically be a CPA who, and now we've automated a lot of that, right? Now anyone can produce a set of financial statements. So what is next?
You know what I think is next? What I want to do next, what I think is exciting, and what makes me excited to share with small business owners is, when I think about advisory, I think about the idea of helping them sleep better by knowing that tomorrow their business isn't going to collapse. By knowing that there is, and it can move, it can shift, but there is a plan for tomorrow, and tomorrow's tomorrow. So 5 years from now, we've got a plan.
Right.
Now, it can pivot because business pivots, life pivots, plans pivot, but at least you've got a way to say, we've got some way to pivot and actually be able to measure it.
Yep. Well, that's the problem, is that a lot of times the model gets built, but it doesn't get updated.
Right.
Because it's too hard, right?
It's too hard and nobody understands it.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like you're shining the light on areas of your client's business that they couldn't see before. And it gives them more visibility into the future, and they're able to make better decisions.
Yep.
Right? So now and that's what they need.
What they need.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I'm glad. I'm glad that you're helping them.
Cool.
I'm glad because one of the things that I'm saying giraffe. So giraffe.
It's like a soft V.
Giraffe.
So
Giraffe.
I'm a musician, right? So think of Rachmaninoff.
Yeah.
Right? It's a V. It's written as a V, but it's kind of like an F sound. So that's how I giraffe.
So let's talk about your music
Background.
So you didn't go to college to be.
I did it all backwards.
Yeah, you didn't go to college to be an accountant. You went to be
a cellist.
Yeah.
So I majored in cello performance, and I was taking orchestra auditions, and then I had this sort of quarter life crisis where I realized this wasn't what makes me happy, and I was kicking myself for spending all this money going to an expensive school and having not majored in anything. And it was the financial crisis too, so that didn't help. So that's how I got into bookkeeping, because it was the one thing that people still needed, and there was demand for it, and I could do it around my music schedule. Right? So.
You know what I love is there's, we see members of our community that are amazing accountants, but they're also amazing artists and musicians and directors and actors and very creative. So Brittany Brown, who's going to be speaking on e-commerce, she is an amazing artist. Her artwork is just
So-
beautiful.
Anne, can I share your idea about having all of the musicians? Okay, all right. So we were talking today, and we were talking about musicians and mathematics. They cross over.
Mhm, yeah.
And she said, wouldn't it be fun to poll to find out how many accountants also have a musician background? And Anne said, wouldn't it be fun if we had a musician orchestra? If we just said, bring your instruments and let's play together.
Wasn't there?
Do you play something in? What do you play? You play the flute? I play the drums.
So
Not well, but I play the drums.
I learned, I was over at Intact Advantage a few weeks ago. Sage Intact had a conference, and we were interviewing the CEO or the former CEO of Sage Intact, who's like now running like mid-market for all of Sage, like super impressive resume, right? And the only thing he wanted to talk to me about was that he played French horn. And he was like, we were talking,
That's
you know,
awesome.
music and cello and all that stuff. Yeah, but he was like he played in the Chicago Youth Symphony and all
Wow.
that stuff. So
Did you play anything, Liz?
I also played drums. So
You played drums
well,
too?
Yeah, it was percussion.
Really?
Mhm. Yeah, I was pianist and
Yeah.
percussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And yeah, it didn't last very long.
But I think this is a great thing we're talking about because it I don't know, tosses out that stereotype of accountants as being, you know, just focused on one thing, numbers,
Yeah.
people, boring stuff. And you know, I'm grateful that I got into accounting. I did it originally just to make a buck, right? But it turned out to be super interesting. And I tell people all the time that what I get to do as an accountant is much more interesting in terms of like setting up systems and talking to people and helping them with their businesses than anything I did as an orchestra musician, where I was just playing the notes that somebody else wrote on a page, right? So it's like it's all how you perceive it, I think.
I agree.
No, I agree too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So as far as being here,
Mm-hmm.
passing out cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really cool.
You gotta get
cards.
yours. You gotta find
Yeah.
Blake
It's
and get.
right. It's for all of you to be able to see. There you go. Is it backwards to me or for everyone?
No, I think it's backwards to you. I think it'll be okay on
All right.
the video.
Oh.
I think it'll be all right.
I would hold it
Yeah.
up like this, and we would do like a zoom in if this was a late night
Right.
show, right?
You could do it, but you could do it. You could just do.
Yeah, there we
This
go.
this is
Right.
yeah, this is low budget. There's nobody
Yeah.
to zoom. In fact, if we zoom too much, our camera is going to be completely
Right.
out of focus.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. We're
Sorry,
recording.
nothing.
We're recording podcast episodes, and you know those will be coming out in a few weeks.
Did anybody win the guest spot on the podcast?
So David Leary is running that contest, and I don't
Yeah.
know what his criteria are exactly.
People are going a little crazy over
I
that. So there's
know.
people that are they really, really, really want that guest spot.
Yeah, so go on
yeah.
Twitter and like
Yeah.
the posts of the people that you think would be great guests, because we're having a contest. Some lucky winner will get to be our
Some
co-host
lucky winner.
Yeah.
for the news episode that we released.
That's
exciting.
going to be big
Yeah,
news.
It is.
But I
So
think
when is
this
it going to be announced?
this was already my highlight. It's going to be announced, I think, like tomorrow or something. I don't know.
Okay.
David's going to.
He's in charge.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
you know,
so
I
we'll
just-
pass it to David.
Of the-
David,
of the
David
contest,
knows.
yeah. he knows.
he's
Go find
the
David.
master.
He'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to know about giraffes, go find you.
Go find Giraffe. We are booth C7 at the event.
Cool.
C7?
C7.
C7.
C is in cat.
Keep it an animal.
And
Yeah.
I was going to say 7 is in lives, but it's 9.
But I thought that too when you said 7.
Right?
I thought
Yeah.
7 lives.
7 lives. I
great.
don't know.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
lots of parties.
Maybe
lots of
giraffes
fun
have
to be
7
having.
lives. Cats 9.
I've never heard that. No.
Yeah,
I think we
I'm
should-
making
we
stuff
can
up
start
now.
that
Yeah,
rumor.
we could.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We're super excited to be here. We'll see, for those of you that are here in San Jose, we'll see you. Yay.
Yep.
And for those of you at home, thanks for dropping in, and stay tuned to hashtag QuickBooks Connect to see all of the fun happenings throughout the week.
Thank you both so much.
Okay.
And listen to the Cloud Accounting Podcast. If you haven't heard it.
If I haven't already pitched it.
Yeah,
enough.
if we haven't pitched it enough.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, Blake.
Awesome.